welcome to my channel. I am ZodiacBandit, and I believe we are about to see the Bell's Hells turn up. They're about to drop a lot of the chaos, not all of it. They're going to keep a lot of it, but they're going to drop a good portion of chaos. If you look back over the last handful of episodes, they've been on a huge down. They've constantly gotten crap thrown at them, people have died, and they've been in shitty situation after shitty situation. I believe now, in episode 40 onward, they're going to take things a lot more seriously as they are racing toward another confrontation with Odahan Thule. And Eos might lead to this confrontation, it might not, but let's look at a few examples as to why they're going to start taking things more seriously from this point on. Before I start looking at examples, however, I do want to point out that both Campaign 1 and Campaign 2 also went through similar situations, where they both decided they need to start cutting a lot of the crap, and they need to start focusing more on being a team. This happened after the first arc in the first campaign and going into the Briarwoods, where they needed to be a lot more serious about what they were doing, or they were going to get hurt. And in Campaign 2, it happened after Mollymock's death, and they needed to work together more as a team, make sure they didn't get split up, and ended up taking a lot less risks, or thinking things through more as time went on. In Campaign 3, they've been chaos since the start, and it's cost them a lot. It's cost them Laudna, it's now cost them Esteros, it nearly cost them Orym and Fern, and now we're going to see them begin to sort of step it up, as they have all said, after everything that's happened, that they do need to be more prepared. So, what reasons do they have to think this way? That's what we're going to cover right now. Obviously, I don't need to say, if you're not caught up with episode 39 of Critical Role Campaign 3, spoilers ahead. So first of all, I want to talk about their first confrontation with Odahan. It was following the escape or, a successful heist at the Paragon's Call base, the seat of disdain. It was very successful. They went in, grabbed Treshy, got out, pretty well stole a bunch of useful information and items that could prove the Paragon's Call are a bunch of fuckheads and are working with the Cerberus Assembly. But right afterwards, they made a few mistakes. The first one, splitting off right away, one moving on something really slow, and the other group going in a different direction on foot, and not really having a meetup point. They said Amhari Joe, but that would kind of implicate him as well. So they didn't really have a spot to join up, because they also said that would implicate him. Then came Odahan. She jumped down, saw the group was split up, went after the group who put them in a bad position on top of a already damaged crawler, and then they got hurt, the two groups were separated, and then after that, everything disintegrated. Are they going to run? Are they going to fight? What are they doing? Kept happening. Half of them decided to fight, two or three of them decided to run, and the other half kind of got cut down before they could really do anything. And it just went so south so quickly. Instead of everybody run or everybody fight, they split up. Imogen put up some big wall between the two halves, forcing half the groups on each side to pick, and they each half decided to do something different. No one was on the same page here in this fight, and it cost them dearly when they lost Laudna, Fern, and Orym in this confrontation. And if not for some ruinous shenanigans, they would have probably all died. So, that is their first indication that they have to start taking things seriously, and they've all acknowledged this as of late. They do need to take things like this a bit more seriously, lest they lose more people. And another element that the players now have to look at and be more prepared for is this toxin that seems to cancel out revivify magic or revival magic. It is an extremely dangerous thing that their opponent has in their arsenal. It has stopped Will from coming back to life, potentially Derek. I'm not too sure if they've ever confirmed that Derek died at the same time, and it has now stopped Lord Esteros from coming back. So could you imagine, had Odahan Thule been prepared for that fight, she would have killed 3 members with 0 chance of revival. Laudna, Fern, and Orym, and they had no chance of coming back if she had this shit prepared. This is something they need to be worried about the most. Yes, Odahan can fuck them up, but this toxin is endgame. This toxin means that it's over and they will no longer be able to come back to life ever. no character will come back, and that'll be it. That'll be all she wrote for whatever members of the Hells die here. And that would just be possibly that might be a first TPK. If we don't take this toxin and Odahan as a combination seriously, the party could die and not have a chance because it begins to snowball. It's called a death spiral for a reason, and as one person begins to drop, the next person begins to drop, and we saw this on a kind of small scale because it didn't lead to a TPK, but it led to terrible. It led to something absolutely terrible because they weren't able to help Esteros afterwards. They had to spend time to revive this person. They've now lost upwards of a week on the Apogee Solstice, and if this happens again, they won't have a chance to bring them back. They'll have to make new allies who they likely won't trust. After the whole Dusk/You situation, the likelihood of these players or characters trusting anybody to a scale like that seems kind of low. Of course they will for the story and bring in the players again, but you get my point. If they don't trust them before and then they go and fight with them again, we might lead to another death spiral. And that's not all. We're actually about to get to a very important place for a lot of characters, that being Chetney. They are very close to the Gloom Jungle where the Gorgine are, so we're potentially about to learn a lot more about Chetney and about the connection between the lycanthropy and Ruidus. We're about to get to Eos, where we're about to learn a metric fuck ton about Ruidus and more about the source of all of the trouble that we're having, which could lead to a potential fight between Odahan and everybody in case she's decided to go there. And we're about to meet a lot more people just like Imogen. But on top of all of this, we are about to actually have a conversation, potentially, with Imogen's mother, as she reached out to her in the last episode using sending. So, we're about to have to get into a lot more personal situations with a lot more characters. As time moves forward and things connect to Ruidus, it seems that we're going to have to take things a lot more seriously than we have been before. Up to this point, they've been taking a lot of what Ruidus is as very serious, but now they're going to have to take this as life or death, as it is. With everything else that's come up to this point, in combination of where they're going to be, basically the central hub of learning of Ruidus, it is now going to have to be taken with the utmost respect. And up to this point, the Bell's Hells haven't necessarily done this. So I truly believe that this right here, this factor, will be the biggest and for this group to take things a bit more seriously. So let me know what you think. Do you think that they are about to take things a lot more seriously? Do you think that they need to take things more seriously as time moves on? Or would you prefer they stick with this chaotic theme that they've gotten going for them so far? It's taken them 40 episodes at least. Maybe it should take them for the next 40. Maybe that's your thought process. I think they need to start taking things a little bit more serious, and all of this sort of backs up and reinforces that argument. So let me know what you think down below. And of course, both campaigns prior have also gone from, a little bit less serious to having to take things with a lot more respect. So I think it's about time, as we are 40 episodes deep as opposed to the 25 episodes deep that the previous two campaigns typically did before ramping things up and becoming more serious. And of course, they don't have to stay serious. Once they deal with Odahan and Ruidus and move on to whatever the next arc is, potentially, if there is another one after this, we shall see. Because they can just go back to being chaotic once more, but who knows? I think, honestly, if I really have to think about it, Ruidus has been this central thing this entire time, so the likelihood of that being here for the rest of the campaign and being, like, the big thing is probably very likely, unless Matt wants to split it perfectly down the middle and, half of the campaign was Ruidus and then half the campaign something else. Who knows? So who knows? Yeah, let me know what you think down below. This is just a short little discussion video that I wanted to sort of put out, because I think one of the biggest complaints people have about Campaign 3 is how chaotic it's been, because it's been hella chaos. So I do think for those who don't like the chaos, we're about to reach a point where that's going to go away. It's going to become a lot more serious, and for those who are worried about that because they love the chaos, it's not going to go away completely. Fern is a klepto, and she's not going to let that happen. Chetney is the same way. He's very chaotic. So, not going to go away completely, but I do think it's about to turn a little bit down on the chaotic notch. But who knows? Let me know what you think down below. And before I go, I do want to thank everybody who watches these videos. I put a lot of effort into some of them. All of them. I'll say some of them. Because some of them are literally just me speaking in front of a thing and putting a single picture up, which is just the recaps of videos. But honestly, talking for half an hour sometimes is a challenge, especially for me, as many of you can probably tell. But I just want to thank all those who are here consistently and who've subscribed. We are super close to 400, which is really cool. And at 500, I want to make a special video. So eventually when we hit that, if you want to encourage that, you guys can send this out to your friends and tell them to subscribe as well. Because at 500, I want to make a video sort of showcasing my love for Critical Role and, you know, giving you guys a bit more information about me, who I am, because I think that'd be cool. Because by then, hopefully I will be full in swing into the pursuit of my true dream and desires in life. As of right now, I'm not, but I will be eventually. Very shortly, actually. So that'd be cool. Anyway, just wanted to say thank you guys once again for watching, and peace.